So that's gonna come down here. All right, so I make a motion to reopen the public hearing for the cannabis law. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, before we take public comments, just a couple points of clarification. I think you all received this in mail, first of all.
Yes.
It says clearly on it that voters have approved it, don't let the town take it away. Let's address that. So in 2021, I actually have the minutes from the meeting minutes from July 26, 2021. There were two public hearings that particular day. One of them was opt out of allowing cannabis retail dispensaries and on-site cannabis consumption establishments. So if a local law was approved for that, then both cannabis retail dispensaries existence and on-site cannabis consumption establishments would have been put to referendum in proposition. The second one was opt out of allowing cannabis retail dispensaries or opt out of allowing on-site cannabis consumption establishments, which means one or the other could possibly be on referendum. The meeting minutes reflected after some discussion among the members of the board, they decided to put forth a resolution to opt out of consumption establishments, but not retail establishments. And that particular motion was passed 3-1. There were some comments in here, I think on July 9th from former deputy supervisor, quote, the board forced the issue onto the voting ballot and the town residents overwhelmingly voted for dispensaries, but not consumption, unquote. That is inaccurate as Proposition 6 only addresses on-site consumption. Therefore, there is no possible connection to infer voter support for cannabis retail, when that specific issue was never voted on because the board had voted not to put retail cannabis on a proposition. Finally, the town board bypassed voter input by removing the requirement for voter approval of retail cannabis establishments from the local law, and you could say unilaterally, it was the board making the decision and being the voice for the town. Permitted retail use by allowing the December 31st, 2021 deadline to pass, and that's important because up until December 31st, 2021, every town in New York was opted in for retail. You had to have a referendum to opt out, and it had to be supported by the voters. So that automatically opted the town in to allow cannabis retail without public support. So let's make sure the record is clarified to that point of order.
Can I just sum up?
Yes.
Read a lot.
Mhm.
So there were two options. The New York state law said everybody's gonna be able to sell and consume marijuana. Unless your government says no. Tuxedo said yes, the three board members, two of which are in this room, said yes, you can sell marijuana in Tuxedo. And the voters, they let the voters decide if you could consume it. And the voters overwhelmingly said, no, you can't consume in Tuxedo. Which would lead me to assume that they would have, if they would have had the opportunity to vote for the selling of marijuana in Tuxedo, they would have said no as well. But you did not have that option because this board in 2021 did not give it to you.
Okay, any
Is
other?
that
comments?
accurate?
That's.
Ben?
Thank you. It's accurate. Any other board members wish to comment before we take comments?
No.
Okay. Then Marissa, who's number one on the list? Before we proceed though, let me just put a couple of rules of order. So 3 minutes max on comments. Nobody can stand up here twice. We've had that happen in the past. We're going to go to the people in the room first, and then we're going to proceed out to Zoom. The people out online, the requirement is you're going to raise your hand to be recognized. And the chair will, if I can read that screen, or the town clerk will decide who's going to go next. And since we don't have a list for Zoom. So who's first?
So the first one is Jay Reichcott, 121 Laurel Road, Tuxedo Park. Jay? Do you have yeah.
Yep, and I got a green light and everything. Hi, I'm Jay Reichcott. I live at 121 Laurel Road in the park. And I'm one of the members who was on the board when the opting out did or did not happen. I don't remember it exactly the way you describe it, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Mhm.
The town is opted in to dispensaries. Now, I'm not gonna go through the history lesson I went through 2 weeks ago. What I am gonna say is that the rules that establish dispensaries are very strict and very thorough and very robust about how those dispensaries can operate to protect what was called at the last meeting, sensitive populations, to keep kids out. This is all based on the rules that have been established over the last 100 years for liquor stores, which is essentially what we're talking about here. What this law does is it piles on to those regulations another level of authority, and it's more, where the state law says 200 feet from a school, it says 5. Where it says a school, it says a school or a daycare or a playground or. It establishes requirements for security cameras and all the rest of it that are over and above what's already established. It establishes bulk table where you can put on a site regulations that would, if applied to liquor stores or bars or places that sell tobacco, mean that I think none of the establishments in the hamlet proper, the liquor store, the bodega, if it ever gets up and running, any of the restaurants could sell liquor or tobacco. And it pushes all of this maybe into Southfields, although I'm not completely convinced that the rules could be followed there either. I think that it opens the town up to lawsuits for overreach because the state law specifically prevents the town from zoning these establishments out of existence. And I think that it really and truly sends one more message that Tuxedo is not interested in businesses open. So the last thing I'll say, since apparently I talked pretty quick, if we're going to push all of this into Southfields, and maybe we'll redo the zoning to let dirty bookstores and everything else in there too, I would add to the law that all of the tax revenue that is earned from these businesses gets spent in Southfields first, not collect the money there and come down and clean up this part of town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the list, we have Kathy Rouse, 46 Hospital Road, Tuxedo. Did I pronounce your name right? Did I pronounce your name correctly? Yes. Okay, thanks.
I personally did not know anything until this card in the mail came Monday, what was going on for the town of Tuxedo. And I am 100% against it because it will cause in future times more problems than you will ever think about with this going on. It is all over the US and other countries. You can see day by day on the news. You have enough drugs coming into this country that we do not need to have it in this town. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second is Caitlin Coleman, 12 Old Brimstone Road, Carmel.
If you don't mind, I'm the next guy up, I would like to swap.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're Eric?
I'm
Eric Coleman.
Yeah, that's for you, should know.
And he's representing a new wellness.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, town members and the board. Thanks for letting us speak because we don't live here. But what we would like to do is actually have a business here. And the business, I'm going to read because otherwise I get in trouble. So our vision is for a cannabis dispensary which is centered on discretion and professionalism. This is not going to be a flashy weed shop that, you know, came up with all the illegal shops when we first legalized weed here in New York, and they didn't set up the ability to open legal shops, so everybody went nuts there. This is not going to look like that. It's going to be very professional looking. We propose a professional, discreet establishment that harmoniously matches the neighborhood of Tuxedo, so it looks like the neighborhood and such. We understand the importance of maintaining the town's aesthetic and reputation and aligning with the character and nature of the town. I want to be clear about this business, what it will be and what it won't be. We're not going to let people smoke outside the building or throw garbage or do any of that crap. I mean, we're running a business. It's like we got to keep it clean and neat. And if you've gone to Colorado, which is where I live, where it's been legal since 2014, you don't even realize you pass a dispensary because they're very innocuous. That's how our shop will be. Over and above that, and this is why I'm going first and my partner spouse is going second, we're not just looking to open a cannabis dispensary, but we're also looking to open a day spa, which will provide aesthetic services. So again, what we're looking to open is more of a wellness place. So it's around making sure the dispensary isn't about promoting cannabis culture. It's providing a regulated, safe option for adults who choose to use cannabis products in their own home. Our vision focuses on wellness and safe and responsible access for adults who choose to consume. The New York Office of Cannabis Management regulates most aspects of our industry through comprehensive state law and ongoing compliance checks. We will follow, and actually required to follow, every regulation to a T, or guess what? I lose our license, which we paid a heck of a lot of money for. Just got to share that. These regulations cover everything from age verification processes to security systems to employee training. The state has created a thorough framework that ensures public safety and creates a safe, well-regulated industry. Our goal is to ultimately benefit the town of Tuxedo by offering the Tuxedo residents a legal and profitable cannabis dispensary. Our goal is for both facets of our business to be a destination, and I believe our business will drive patrons to other Tuxedo businesses. We seek to work with the town and neighboring businesses to bring revenue to other small businesses in Tuxedo, and we're prepared to work with you to address any specific concerns the town or community may have while operating within the regulatory framework already established by New York State. Thank you.
Thank you. Caitlin Coleman, also of 12 Old Brimstead Road, Carmel, also representing A New Wellness.
Good evening, board members, Town of Tuxedo. I'm Caitlin Coleman. I want to speak to you about the wellness and spa component that is on the same parcel, but in a separate building from our proposed cannabis dispensary. The cannabis industry is rapidly evolving toward wellness integration, and our business model reflects this trend. We're not just proposing a dispensary, we're creating a wellness destination separate from the dispensary that offers massages, holistic health approaches, and other wellness offerings. The nearest wellness spa is over 7 miles away. This proposed wellness center will be a completely separate building from the dispensary and serve a need for wellness services in Tuxedo. Studies show that the wellness centers are becoming increasingly popular as people seek remedies for stress management, pain relief, and overall wellness. Our spa component will offer services like therapeutic massages, facials, and relaxation therapies. All spa services will be available to all community members. We're creating a space where Tuxedo residents can access quality wellness services, including massage therapy, skincare treatments, and holistic health consultations. The cannabis component simply adds another therapeutic option for those who choose it. For us, we want both arms of our business, the dispensary and the wellness spa, to be about education and wellness, not just recreational use. The wellness spa model also attracts a more diverse, health-focused clientele compared to traditional dispensaries. We believe the wellness side of the business will help drive customers to nearby businesses, including customers stopping into town after treatment to go to restaurants or other retail stores in Tuxedo. We believe our wellness approach directly addresses many of the concerns communities have about cannabis businesses. We're creating a professional, multifaceted, and discreet business, not just a pot shop. This is about enhancing Tuxedo's wellness offerings and providing residents with access to natural therapeutic options in a professional spa-like environment. Thank you for your time, and we're excited about the opportunity to contribute to the wellness of the citizens within the town of Tuxedo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Malone from 130 Fawn Hill Road.
Thank you.
This is my bag of weed. You can see how I spent my morning. I went all over Rockland, went all over Orange County, visited a bunch of places. The places with big parking lots, you'll have a nice big parking lot up near my town. Every place had people sitting in their cars smoking weed, including Harriman, including Suffern. Suffern, they were parked at the curb. They don't have a parking lot. Two of the places I visited, wellness spas, were right next door. Rub and tugs. Good old-fashioned Chinese whorehouses. In Suffern, next to the weed shop. We're not talking about a dispensary. That's what these people do to clean it up. Boy, it sounds nice. I want one of those. Yeah. No, it's a weed shop. It's going to have a wellness center next to it. We're not in Colorado. I visited just Rockland and Orange County, 15 minutes down the road. A weed shop sitting next to a rub and tug. You know what that is, right? Yeah. That's what you're talking about. A couple of these places have apartments upstairs. They reek. They reek out onto the sidewalk. They reek into the parking lot. Those people in those cars are driving home. These knuckleheads put in here, traffic passes through Tuxedo. They should have a business to stop at. Yeah, they're going to stop. They're going to buy. They're going to use. You have no legal right to tell them to stop in the parking lot. And when they laugh in your face, because they will, I would, what are you going to do? You're going to overtax the Tuxedo Police Department more than it is? It's a little department. Every single one of these in the country. Hey, Colorado. NTSB says as soon as you did what you did, accidents increased all over your state. We don't have enough fatalities here in Tuxedo on the road? Yeah, he's smiling. He thinks it's funny. Yeah, you know what? My kids pick up the dead bodies. My kids pick up the dead bodies. So you can laugh all you want. You can look at the numbers. Pretend I'm lying to you. None of you know me. Google dispensaries. The Google map lights up like a Christmas tree. They're everywhere. It's easy to do. I'm lying to you. They're not everywhere. Google it. Go to the one in Suffern. Go to the one in Harriman. Oh, you're going to bring new businesses? The one in Harriman, the business next to it, closed. It's a building with two businesses and an apartment upstairs. The business next to it closed. And two guys smoking weed in the parking lot. So I'm lying to you. Look it up yourself. Go to the place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Christine Clark from 67 Woodlands Drive.
Stay right here. That's a tough act and follow. So I'm only gonna take a moment or two, so you don't have to find me. My name is Christina Clark. I live in Woodlands. I am a retired educator, 37 years in education, and I also was a principal. I haven't heard any concern about the location of this proposed business in relation to the proximity of the schools. If anybody has dealt with kids, you know they can get out of anything that you address to them. They're very, very smart. When you describe smoking pot in a parking lot, I think about the children, and I'm not talking about, because I taught high school math also, so I know the high school kids too. smoking pot in a parking lot so that these kids can see what's going on. And the curiosity factor is unbelievable. My suggestion, whatever it's worth, is simply to look for a different location. Obviously, it's not gonna stop the business, but I would suggest a farther distance from the school to where this proposed, business would be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bryna Palm, 44 Antio Road.
I had no idea that I was going to have the opportunity to speak. Just very off the cuff. I was really absolutely outraged when we got that piece of mail on Monday. I couldn't believe that this could be true. We do not have any businesses in this town, and this is the best that we could do. You say, oh, it's going to draw customers to other businesses here. We don't have any businesses here. We need restaurants and other essential things. We don't need this. And you say, oh, the closest one is so far, it's 7 miles away. We go more than 7 miles. We go 10 miles away just to buy some milk. So we have a wonderful town here, and we need essential goods and services, not this with the, very sleazy adjunct business, which we all know what it is. It's just tragic that members of this board a number of years ago voted not to vote this down in this historic town of ours. And I just ask you, please take this business somewhere closer to Carmel, where you live, and don't bring it here to Tuxedo. Thank you.
Edwin Cromley?
Yes.
Yes,
Sure.
of course.
Can somebody hand
48
him the microphone though?
Yep.
So that-
Clubhouse Road in Tuxedo Park,
Yes, sir.
representing himself.
Ed Cromie, I've been here since 1980. My remarks are probably not directly related to what we're talking about when it comes to a place like this, because I gave up smoking when I was 12. So, but I am concerned about all the losses that I have seen in my 25 years or almost 45 years of living here. We have lost more than we have gained. And I'm not sure I want to gain the shop that's being talked about tonight. But we've lost a hospital, we've lost an IGA, we've lost the Methodist Church. I would like to know, what are the requirements to have business come in? Is there a book that I'd like to look at to see what requirements? We need business here. I was surprised when Ridges came in. I didn't know anything about that. I went in there for a drink for Manhattan, and they only served wine and beer. And so I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less. But I would like to see some kind of incentive by us to draw business into this community. Incentive, and can you give tax breaks or something to bring people and more business here, not driving away? How long did it take the housing development? Almost 30 years before that was finally accepted. That's incredible. With that, we've lost a school. It's a whole different kind of school now. We have got to do things on our own to make this place where people want to come. That's what I would like to see happen.
So, I hear some comments about can't get milk, can't get a newspaper, can't get those things that are necessary. That's why we ran to come in here. We have a very aggressive marketing plan. We have interest. We have building going all around us. Deirdre is going to give a presentation, sir, if you'd like to stay around to see what that looks like. Many, many, many hours of marketing plans and pitch books and invitations to businesses outside of our tuxedo. A lot of things changed over the years with the internet coming to Amazon and big box stores and all that stuff. We have to come up with the antidote, and that's what we're doing, and we're working hard on that. So just wanted to let you know, okay? So, is there anybody else in the room that wants to speak but hasn't written their, okay, could you please approach the podium and give us your name and your address, please?
Hi, my name is Susan Mitchell, and I live at One Schoolhouse Lane in Tuxedo. I'm a member of the Board of Education, but I'm speaking today as an individual. I'm very concerned about the location of the dispensary being so close to the school. I've looked up some studies on other towns where dispensaries have been located close to schools, and there was one in Oregon, a study done in 2015, and it was found that when the cannabis dispensaries were located near middle schools, there was an increase in discipline referrals for substance use. On average, a regular school would have 3 to 4 referrals per year, but in the town that was studied, the increase was 44%. This is one study. There needs to be more studies, but I don't want to take that chance with our kids. So I think it's really important that we also look at the laws and with the federal guidelines, with the drug-free school zone, it should be 1,000 feet from a school. So even though the state law is saying 500 feet, the federal law should trump the state law. And I don't think that we should be taking the risk that the federal law will say, you know, you're not following the guidelines. So, sorry, I get nervous talking in front of people, but it's important. I'm glad everybody came out because it's our responsibility to take care of our kids. And this is not what's right for our kids.
Thank you.
Just one comment on what the lady had said. I agree. And you know what? Timing is everything, because in front of committee in Albany is a bill, I think it's 7576, which is doing just that, to increase the proximity requirements to 1,000 feet, right? The problem is it's not happening now. It has to get through the Senate and the Assembly, and it hasn't been signed by the governor, and of course that will take quite some time to do. So it's more important for us than ever to try to figure a solution here. So thank you for bringing that up.
We have people still on the floor here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
I wasn't gonna talk, but changed my mind. My name is Kelly Spranger. I live at 80 Alexander Drive in Tuxedo. I haven't been here as long as you, but I've been here almost 20 years. I've put 2 kids through the school. My son will be a senior this fall. I wanted to hear from my own child how he felt about having a dispensary close to the school. He's 17, he just turned 17. He said, you know what, Mom? Absolutely not. When I had to drive the bus to school, or not drive the bus, but ride the bus every day to school and see that big billboard with a gun on it every day, back and forth, and I had to see that gun. He was appalled that there were gun shops so close to the school. He said, don't you think that's odd? Isn't that a little weird? I'm like, yeah. And I actually brought it up to you guys. Why do we have guns on billboards? Now we have a business. I've been to Colorado. I've been to dispensaries. I also have other kids. I have children. And I understand the need for cannabis for medical purposes. I understand that, but not in Tuxedo. Please, not here. We need a diner. We need other things first. And if you have an illness or you're an adult and you need that for anxiety and depression or all the other symptoms where you need cannabis, you can go to medical dispensaries in other states and other towns that are within a driving distance. We all drive to Jersey to go do our dry cleaning and our groceries. In our historic town of Tuxedo, we do not need a dispensary as one of the first businesses. It sends the wrong message. And my own son, who's going to be a senior in high school, said, no, Mom, please tell them our kids shouldn't have that so close to school. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so if there's no one else in the room, is there anyone else?
I'm sorry, there was one thing I wanted to add. There,
Brian, real quick, that nobody else can hear you, and people who want to watch this on the playback won't be able to hear what you have to say. I definitely want everybody to hear what you have to say.
okay. People do not obey the main red light in front of the post office at all. People are constantly going through, you have to stop and wait at least 10 seconds before walking across 17 or even driving. People speed through that red light every single day, every hour of the day. I'm amazed, thank goodness, that there has not been a fatality there. And now you're gonna have people who are stoned out of their mind driving through with total disregard for our town. We need to add that to the equation too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clarification, is it Orange Top that we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Otherwise known as Augusta Properties on the book.
thank you.
Let's be clear, this law is not about the orange top. This law is about regulations for dispensaries in the.
Jay, I'm answering the lady's question. You've already spoken, sir. Thank you very much. We're gonna go out to Zoom and we have a bunch of hands up there, and through the years, I've lost my vision. So Marissa, if you can read who's first and invite them to talk, that would be great.
Top left.
Let me just let them.
Is that Evelyn David?
Oh, am I first?
Hi, Evelyn.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so first of all, I take issue with the word, oh, should I speak?
Go ahead.
Should I talk?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we can hear you.
I take issue with the word dispensary. Dispensaries, you need a prescription to get a drug. Okay, so if you don't need a prescription to get the cannabis here and it's only by age, then it's not a dispensary. I don't know why they keep calling it dispensary. That's one thing. The other thing is the kids at lunchtime will walk across the street. Somebody that's 18 or older will go buy this stuff and spread it around, and that's the end of it. You know, I mean, it's one thing leads to the other, and also, I know everybody's very aware, and everybody that's talked is, listening and using their brains in trying to figure out how to say no to these people. But, okay, so it's an issue. It's a big issue, and I hope the right thing happens in the end. I do have one other thing to say that I want to go on the record, Dave. This is about the siren in Tuxedo for major hurricane or rainstorm.
Evelyn, we're getting off track here. You can bring that back up at the end of the meeting in public comments.
Okay, all right, no, that's fine. If I could, but you said you can only talk once. So
Well,
that's why I
you
was
could
throwing-
just, during the public hearing, you can only talk once. You can come back at the end of the meeting when we
I
take
think-
public
okay,
comments
that's fine.
on the siren.
That's fine. Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thank
So
you,
the other
Evelyn.
thing about this, okay, all right, okay, thanks. All right.
Okay. Next. It says, somebody who has an iPhone, that's your name. You're next.
Maybe we have to circle back. When we have a name, why don't we call them and then we'll circle back with as in.
There's Ken Seligson.
Ken, you're up.
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
Oh,
This
never
is the
mind. Hold on.
iPhone user.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is Scott Lesko from Augusta Properties. I'm a commercial property owner with holdings in the downtown business district and the town of Tuxedo. I am one of the top 5 largest commercial taxpayers in town. I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce for 5 years. My family and I have owned these properties since 1968. I am on the front line every day speaking with business owners about renting commercial space in Tuxedo and hearing directly from them why they would not consider moving their business to Tuxedo. Over the past 57 years, I watched Tuxedo struggle with creating and sustaining a viable business district. The town of Tuxedo and the village of Tuxedo Park.
Scott, were you present when I gave the rules for the public hearing, sir?
I was.
You've already commented during this public hearing, so you're not eligible to comment again. Thank you, sir. Go to the next person, please.
Hold on.
No,
Ken Sullivan.
Hold on a second.
Ken?
Dave.
Yeah, I'm here and I'm a little confused by that rule. So is it that
Stop,
Scott?
stop for a second, attorneys.
Yeah, I think that rule applies to this evening. Somebody commented at
Well, I'm thinking it's a rule of the chair, so we have the same continuous public hearing open, and that's almost the exact same verbiage from the July 9th meeting. That's what I was predicating that upon.
So let him finish.
Okay, Scott, go ahead and finish.
Alrighty. And so I have, for the past 57 years, as I mentioned, I have watched people struggle and I've struggled to see people rent in this town. Although we have thousands of cars a day that pass through our town, none of them stop to support our local businesses. A perfect example of this is the recent loss of a restaurant in town. And when we look at Tuxedo Square, we can see that that building has been substantially vacant for quite some time. We need in my opinion, we need a destination business to attract visitors that drive through our community to support our local establishments, similar to what we used to see back in the day when we had the seafood festival over at the old Tuxedo. As Jay indicated, in 2021, there was overwhelming support for a cannabis dispensary in the town of Tuxedo. The town of Tuxedo did opt in for recreational and medical use. I want to be clear, there is a dispensary that is coming to Tuxedo. For those residents that have voiced concerns, there's an applicant that has already cleared the town board and is almost ready to get state approval, and they will be opening up a location in Southfields. The proposed law will do nothing but allow that site to have a complete monopoly on dispensaries for the entire town of Tuxedo. Because the state law does not allow dispensaries to be within 1,000 feet of each other, once this location gains access, all the other sites that are in the overlay business district will become null and void, will not be eligible for cannabis. In my opinion, we should allow the consumer to decide which dispensary succeeds and not the town board through restrictions and using town resources to do so. I believe a well-executed cannabis dispensary could serve as a destination business within inside of Tuxedo Hamlet, which we desperately need, bringing patrons that would support other businesses such as coffee shops, convenience stores, grocery stores, as well as the existing retail establishments, something that the town has wanted for quite some time. Over the last several years, I have been approached by multiple prospective tenants that are interested in opening a cannabis dispensary in the former Orange Shop Diner site. I did not take them seriously. However, in the last several months, I've met some very serious business operators, and they had a plan that was consistent with what I tried to do with the architectural changes that I made when I renovated these buildings, and also will complement the overall profile of Tuxedo as you heard them speak today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just correct the record again? No vote has ever been in the majority of anything cannabis, except for the 3 members on the board that voted to opt in to this law.
Correct.
The voters voted down consumption of cannabis.
Can we vote down accessory?
No.
You weren't afforded it by proposition. The town board failed to move that local
Too late.
law.
New York State said you had until this date to do it. That date is long gone.
I'm sorry, I know you're talking, but I was on that board. And the reason that there wasn't a formal vote, but when we had the hearing for the first one, where we said, resolution of the town attorneys, Jacobowitz Gubitz LLP, to prepare a local law opting the town of Tuxedo from the state statute authorizing the town to allow licensing and establishing the cannabis retail dispensaries and or cannabis online consumption establishments within the term. In that hearing, we had everybody saying they didn't want the establishment. We had everyone but one person. And if you don't believe me, please go to the minutes of that hearing. It was in June 2020, June 26, 2021. And that was the reason when we had to rush to put this as a referendum so that we could pass the law. So now the same folks that are now saying, I didn't know about it, whatever, there was a public hearing and the public overwhelmingly said they were okay with dispensaries. And that's why we could only do the one law. We couldn't say one or the other because of the way that the law, the way that the state had, had phrased the way that the law had to go through. So it's not like we didn't care or you guys didn't have a voice. You had a public hearing. There was a public hearing and people spoke at that public hearing. And if you don't believe me, go to the town website, go to June 2020, June 2021, June 26, 2021, and look at the comments, because all of the comments that you said today and all of the comments that we said back then are all in favor. Gary Hefner was the one person who said no, absolutely.
Although I don't think the intended effect.
Next online. I believe it was Ken.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Ken. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. My name is Ken Seligson. I am legal counsel for Augusta Properties, which is located at 192 New York 17. This is a long vacant commercial property, and you just heard from Scott. It's in the heart of Tuxedo's business corridor, an area that would actually be ideal for a well-regulated, state-compliant cannabis retail tenant. But no diners are reaching out currently, but please don't interrupt while I comment. Mind you, no other businesses are seeking to locate at this property right now. You hear Scott, he's very passionate. He really cares about the community. And right now, these are the businesses that are looking to locate in the town of Tuxedo. Now, I'm here tonight to raise a narrow but critical concern that the overlay zoning district adopted by the town's cannabis ordinance is both in practice and law, in my view, unworkable. The district overlay district includes just around 30 parcels, but when you examine them closely, most are completely ineligible. Some are cemeteries and other are existing homes. Several are too small or lack the required frontage, and nearly all are off market or unusable without demolition or major redevelopment. By our count, perhaps maybe one parcel is actually viable down in Southfields. This means that while the town technically permits cannabis dispensaries, it has functionally created a near total exclusion. It's a zoning restriction that looks legal on paper, but in reality blocks all cannabis businesses from locating in the town. And that's exactly what New York's cannabis law was designed to prevent. So under the New York cannabis law, municipalities can regulate time, place, and manner of cannabis operations, but they can't make it a legal operation unreasonably impractical to locate in the town. And that phrase is not my phrase. It's the controlling legal standard that's developed under the state law. And the Office of Cannabis Management with the state takes this very seriously. Now, the state's Cannabis Control Board has the authority to review municipal ordinances, and we've asked them to issue an advisory opinion here. Now, the exclusion of my client's property is especially troubling. This is an existing retail site with ample parking, access to major roads, and history of commercial use. But the overlay district arbitrarily avoids this business district and pushes all cannabis retail to the margins. And I just want to address the storefront visibility issue. New York State has enacted some of the most restrictive marketing and signage laws in the entire country. There are no neon signs, no cannabis imagery, and there are no billboards. Only 2 signs are allowed on the building. They have to be plain text and approved by the state. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Time's up.
Next is.
Francis Gorman.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Francis Gorman. I'm a partner at the law firm of Harris Beach Murtha. And, I appreciate the comments tonight. I am the attorney for A New Wellness, Eric and Katie Coleman, and they're looking to locate in the town of Tuxedo and worked with Mr. Lesto and Augusta Properties. Mr. Seligman laid out very well the law, and I think one point is good to make again in the fact that the town has not opted out of retail dispensaries, so they are permitted. And under the cannabis law, the town does have ability to zone time, place, and manner, but that's curtailed by certain regulations in New York state law. And if it's overly curtailed, then it's deemed to be unreasonably impracticable. And has been discussed already, the Office of Cannabis Management has made an initial analysis that this cannabis overlay district appears to be unreasonably impracticable, which would make the district void. As I said at the beginning, I'm a partner at Harris Beach. I co-lead the cannabis team, but I'm also on the public finance and economic development team. And we do a lot of work with industrial development agencies around the state, including the Orange County IDA. And I do think people need to appreciate the tax revenue that is generated from the cannabis stores. They get the town gets 3% of the sales, and these stores tend to generate high sales. But I would request that you reconsider your cannabis overlay district as being preempted by state law and unreasonably impracticable, and give Eric and Katie a chance to open a great cannabis store and a wellness center. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peter? Peter?
Yes, hi, Peter Bush of 53 Hospital Road, Tuxedo, New York. I'll keep my comments brief. I first learned of this with the postcard on Monday in the mail. I totally oppose this, and I am tired of the false narratives that the attorneys on this call and meeting and the Augusta Properties are making, as if this is the only salvation for tax ratables in the town of Tuxedo. I know from speaking to many people that have had shops here in the past, one of the problems is that the rents that are being asked are too high, and we are dealing in this corridor with absentee landlords who have no vested interest in the village. The other thing is, it is incongruous for these people to come and stand at the podium and to say wellness and use of cannabis is such a holistic, wonderful thing for our community. And if you go into New York and commute like I do and work in New York, since this law passed in New York State, it has been nothing but heartache in the city of New York. Pot is ubiquitous on every corner, the smell of it. The pot stores opening up. The laws have not done anything to enforce the illegal dispensaries, and the use of the word dispensary is frankly an abject joke. Thank you.
Lucy Yang. Lucy Yang.
Good evening, I'm Lucy Yang in Tuxedo. And I want to say very clearly that covering of this thing under a wellness spa is a Trojan horse. It is a sweet sugar coating to get cannabis into Tuxedo. For them to talk about wellness and then really what they're really wanting are drugs in our neighborhood. We don't want it. We don't want it coated in sugar. We don't want to coat it in a wellness spa. If Eric and Caitlin are so gung-ho about this, put it in your backyard, put the parking lot in your community and sell it in your community. And how dare the lawyer talk to us about revenues and dangle money in front of us like we would go groveling over that. Some things are not worth it. When you sell bad things, it is not worth the tax revenue. When you do bad things to kids, like open this up and you know they'll get their hands on it, that's not worth the pennies you get from it. So we don't want it. I want to make that very clear to the owners of this. We don't want your store here. We don't want you selling it here. We don't want, when you talked about saying, oh, it's going to bring in people, bring in people, bring in people. We actually don't want those people coming here who want to buy that. You're talking like it's going to be for the wellness spa. It's not for the wellness spa. If the wellness spa was going to attract so many holistic searching people, you would open only a wellness spa, but you're not. You're sugarcoating what you're really intending to sell, what the business of your enterprise is, which is selling drugs. So please take my message to heart. We don't want you here. We don't want you here. Go open it in your backyard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.
Paula? Paula, your iPhone, I don't know your last name, so. Paula, you're next. Okay.
Hi,
I'm gonna-
sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, I thought there would be a lot more people before me, sorry. So my name is Paula Giblin. I live at 34 Tower Hill Road East in Tuxedo Park. I've been a resident of Tuxedo for 12 years. Prior to that, I lived in Colorado for 10 years. I lived in Colorado during the time when marijuana was first legalized, first medically, and talk about a Trojan horse. It was legalized medically as a stepping stone to legalize it recreationally. I can tell you from my personal experience being in a state where pot shops basically took over every neighborhood in Denver, this did not help residents of the in any way. I can personally attest to the number of emergency visits for children as young as 3 years old who found gummies on the sidewalk that were THC gummies and consumed them because someone had carelessly, when walking out of a shop like this, dropped something on the sidewalk. Accidents, fatal car crashes, crime, theft, all increased. People came to the area, people came to Colorado for the reason of seeking marijuana, of using drugs. So we're always trying to attract visitors to Tuxedo. I don't think we want our visitors coming for the purpose of buying and consuming drugs. Finally, I'd like to read something. I was just doing a search on the National Library of Medicine, and one of the articles, the first ones that came up, Cannabis Use in Adolescents and the Risk of Psychosis, a systematic review and meta-analysis. Previous research has reported increased risk for psychosis among individuals who use cannabis during adolescence. This study conducted a systemic review and meta-analysis to investigate the interaction between adolescent cannabis use and other factors in moderating risk for psychosis later in life. They looked at 63 studies and found that the increase for psychosis was increased by 70%. They also looked at schizophrenia increase in areas after legalization of marijuana. The risk of schizophrenia went from 3.7 in the general population to over 10% in a population where cannabis use was legalized. So putting this across the street from a school and calling it wellness is a farce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rowan Roundtree, you're next. What happened?
Sorry about that. It took me a second to figure out how to unmute myself. Bronwyn Rowantree, 456 Westlake Road in Tuxedo Park. My main comment around this involves the location. I think the location is particularly poorly thought through. As one of the first businesses that people encounter coming into Tuxedo, I don't know that a head shop sends the right message for sort of what the town is all about. And that's compounded by the fact that it's very, very close to a school. I think at this moment, when we are looking to expand the town with the incoming population from Tuxedo Reserve, putting an establishment like this so close to the school and so close to the entrance to the town is not going to attract the kinds of families and residents that we want to come. I think if you drove into a town and saw that as one of the first businesses you encountered, you might be less likely to think of it as a place that where you want to raise your kids and send them to school. So the merits or demerits of dispensaries aside, this particular proposed location is really problematic. And for that reason, I think we should seriously consider an alternative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Irene Ganero?
Good evening, everyone. I spoke at the last public hearing 2 weeks ago, so I'm not going to repeat myself. The only comments for tonight, I just want to reiterate what Maria May had said and Jay. There was a public hearing about this 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was. I was part of it. I was there. The room was full. And it was unanimous that people felt that a dispensary would be a good idea somewhere in the town to help with revitalization. Everybody keeps crying about businesses. Well, here's a business that can come in and hopefully with strong regulations. And then the only other comment I have is I'm usually amazed how people that live in this town don't ever know what's going on unless they get a postcard or word of mouth that there's some big deal going or issue. Like, people don't follow the town board meetings or the minutes or watch the recordings to know what's going on where you live. I've lived in Tuxedo for 25 years. And I try to be informed of what's going on in my town and get involved. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison Taylor?
Hi, Allison Taylor, a 40-year third-generation resident of Tuxedo. I just want to say that I fully support this business coming to town. We have no legal right to deny it. We don't make these decisions based on moral grounds. We have a liquor store across the street from the high school. We have a gun store down the street. Me, my husband, my parents who also live here are tired of a town with empty, dilapidated, never completed buildings. I'm tired of going to Sloatsburg to spend my money. You want to talk about tax dollars don't matter? They absolutely do. And so I would welcome this business coming. 14-year-olds can't buy drugs. That's the law. So the issue of it being across from a school, yes, maybe not ideal, but also not the problem that everybody wants to make it out to be. Alcoholism is a problem. Alcohol is a drug. Guns are a problem. Guns kill people. We welcome these businesses to our community with open arms. I would welcome this business with open arms. If I could put it in my backyard, I would. And I would like to second what I would all day, every day. And I would second what Irene says. Any of you who were here when there was a public meeting about this, who gives such a crap now, should have shown up. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, I can't read her name.
Carrie Larson.
Thank you.
Hello,
Carrie Larson.
everyone. Hello. Thank you for everyone for voicing your opinions today. Always super valuable. My name is Carrie Larson. I'm here representing A New Wellness. I'm speaking on behalf of 10X Strategies, a government relations and regulatory compliance consulting firm. Our goal is not just regulatory compliance, it's implementing the best of class practices that promote public safety, build community trust, and minimize disruption. of these values is age verification processes, very strict security requirements, amongst other things that are regulated by the OCM. And it's important to clarify that the law under discussion today does not prevent cannabis dispensaries from entering the town. That decision was made when Tuxedo opted into allowing cannabis retail establishments. Instead, the proposed law restricts where businesses can operate in a way that would be unreasonably impracticable and not in line with the intent of the law. We're not here today to ask for special treatment. We're asking for equal footing, fair and lawful treatment consistent with how other businesses are regulated. We want to ensure the town fully understands the benefits of this project, to introduce the proposed leadership team, ownership team who you heard from earlier, and to highlight the harm of regulating licensed dispensaries to distant corners of the community who won't attract customers, won't contribute to revitalization, and won't support local business growth. It's also important to recognize the financial benefit, as Ethel recently spoke on. So to put into perspective for you guys, a $2 million dispensary in annual sales would contribute $60,000 to the town of Dispensary, and a $40 million annual sale dispensary would contribute $120,000 to the town. These are reoccurring annual revenues that can be reinvested into town services, infrastructure, and community programming. As you all spoke about, the rent prices for businesses is extremely high in Tuxedo. Fortunately, with annual revenue that high, they're able to pay those large rental costs. And the benefit extends beyond tax revenue. The proposed dispensary alongside the neighboring wellness spa is a part to retain and attract commerce within the town, contribute to jobs, and become a fabric of the community. They've already joined the Tuxedo Chamber of Commerce, and they envision themselves as a business and a positive contributor to the local economy. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Seems like it's everybody out online.
Effie?
Come up. Eva.
To the business owners, like true business people, you give a wonderful sales pitch. I don't want to disparage you in public. However, I don't know either of you from Adam, and I hold no weight in your words, or to the honesty of them, or to the integrity of them. I believe them to be eager sales pitches and nothing more. Because of the mailer that went out, there was a ruckus on Facebook and comments went back and forth. One of our residents, Kathy Sandak, I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her, posted an article from the Lower Hudson News of an investigation that brought down 5 cannabis shops in Rockland. They were busted on tax fraud and selling to minors. This occurred in June, just recently. You can claim to have the most honest of intentions, but in practices, these businesses typically don't follow them. This is a proposed pot shop across from the school. It is a little hard to give the drugs are bad spiel to kids with a pot shop in full view. As a town, we need to form a committee or reenact or support the existing committee to bring businesses that support the needs of the town. There is no need for a pot shop. There is one north of town, there is one south of town. Everyone I know who uses pot, both medically or recreationally, does not have an issue getting pot. No one in town had an issue getting pot when it was illegal. I hate to be unfriendly to people I don't know, but in my opinion, your business is not welcome. It is certainly not welcome in the heart of our town. Judging by the town turnout, the comments on Facebook, the emails to the board, and some of the comments on Zoom, the town majority feels the same, whether they spoke previously
They're speaking now, and their opinion matters most. Wellness. That is just very laughable. For wellness, we're well sourced as well. We have Valley Rock, which has done an unbelievable amount of positivity to Sloatsburg town. We also have the new spa that went in Sloatsburg as well, in the former convent. So we're covered for wellness. Pawn shops are a business. They don't bring a lot of positivity. The gun shop, like Kelly Spranger spoke, it didn't bring a lot of positivity to kids. We need businesses that are going to serve our town. I don't see a benefit from this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so thank everybody for their comments. Just, I mean, we're going to keep the public hearing open on motion here in a moment, but I just want to remind everybody, if you didn't get up to speak tonight and you would like to communicate your concern or your support, please send the email to the town clerk at townclerk@tuxedogov.org at your convenience. Very important that we collect those comments as we move forward in the process. Secondarily, I'd like to hand it back to the attorney just for a second, so he can describe to you and to the board where we stand with the current overlay and what will happen shortly with, I know there's been some changes discussed. Do you feel comfortable talking about that now, or you want to wait till we come back to the next meeting?
No, just very generally, the public.
Yeah, generally, the public should be aware that the board is considering modifications to the draft local law. One of those would be to expand the size of the overlay zoning district, south down 17, in the vicinity of the Duck Cedar Plaza. And the intention is to try to publish those proposed modifications prior to the continuation of the public hearing. And then we can receive comments on those modifications to the draft law.
Thank you. Okay, with that said, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Dave, would you just add here the date and time of the continuation, which I think is.
Okay, so today is, what is it?
Today's the 23rd.
The second meeting of.
August 13th?
To August 13th. That's the first meeting in August. Okay, so with that said, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
David, could you just explain what is the next step?
Hold on, we're writing a motion. Just give me 1 second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the next step, I'm just gonna get back to Ben, the attorney. He's our consultant for this process. I know that, despite some of the things you've heard today, that the Cannabis Commission does know that towns are authorized to dabble in zoning overlays based on time, place, and manner. So if you'd like to explain that to everyone, what that means in layman's terms, and where our authorization ends and begins and ends, if possible.
Yeah, I'm going to save the detail of the legal analysis for my advice to the town board and not in
Okay.
public. And generally speaking, under the state law, the town is allowed to regulate with time, place, and manner restrictions. The regulations and the statute are vague in terms of which of those restrictions are permitted or not. In some respects, it's fairly clear, in others, it's not clear at all. And that's the challenge for the town board here, to adopt regulations that the board feels are in the public interest and at the same time are in accordance with the state law and regulations.
Thank you. And one other thing to point out, we're not your morality police. You guys voted us up here to protect you, right? Whether or not we're doing something good or bad is left up to the system. Our job is to watch out for the integrity of our community. Bar none. That's what we do. Due diligence. It's the most important thing that a town board can do until we arrive at a decision that we know will be a good decision. So no one up here can make any comments at this time where we stand on those individual things, but I assure you that we take pride in our role of making sure that we put this under the microscope to the highest level of focus and that will continue to do so until this process ends. Don't usually,
While sitting here waiting, what's the next step? What should we do? Whether you're-
keep your letters coming. Keep your letters coming. If we do wind up in front of the Cannabis Commission,
Is it gotta be a board
letters
decision
are
or a
important.
board decision or a state decision to get, not to do it or not to do it? We wanna know what we have to do today to continue with what we.
Well, you're doing what you're doing. All of you right now are by participating. That's the most important thing. We haven't seen this level of participation in quite some time. So in this particular matter, I think it's more important than ever that you stay focused on communicating what you wish to happen in this case to the town board directly and through the town clerk.
Not today.
Not today. We're going to keep
Yeah, at some
continuing.
point.
Actually, there is a agenda item on here that's relevant to the subject. Where's my agenda?
The 30-day
It's
extension.
agenda item number 1, but we're going to ask for a 30-day extension. Can you explain that for the people in the room, what we're doing with that 30-day extension request?
Yes, that relates directly to the proposed location at 192 State Route 17 of Cannabis retail dispensaries. The board received 2 separate notifications from businesses that have proposed to use that site as a cannabis retail dispensary. And the notification stated that those businesses either have or will be filing a license application with the state. And under the regulations, the town board is allowed 30 days from receiving notice to provide comments to the state concerning those notifications, and also to obtain a 30-day extension of that time period. And the vote tonight by the board would be to authorize the supervisor or deputy supervisor to submit those extension requests to the state.
Okay, thank you. We're really not taking any questions. We're comments only at this point. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sir,
Turn your microphone on.
so when you say vote, what do you refer, when you vote on what? When you say when we're gonna vote, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here, that in 2021, it already took place, that there can be a retail cannabis dispensary in town. So when we vote, we can't vote to say we're not gonna have a retail cannabis dispensary, or that window already closed. So when we're voting, it's going to be on
The overlay.
overlay map, and other things could potentially be in there as well. Okay.
So I know what you're voting.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that we're not voting yes or no, are we gonna have it? That vote already took place in 2021. After COVID, yeah.
So just to say it a different way.
Yeah.
This whole hearing is on a law that regulates the use of where dispensaries can operate in the town of Tuxedo.
Through zoning.
We can't
Where?
stop them from operating. That's ship has sailed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to, so we have an overlay of basically a part of the map where we're saying this is the section of town that you can operate a dispensary. That would not be the hamlet. It would not include the hamlet.
The orange top
No, that's excluded. That's the permissible zone. that overlay.
No,
No, that's what we're
that's
working on.
eventually we're gonna vote on. But there are state laws that
Wanna make
we don't have that
clarification.
much control. So we're proposing what the state law allows us to manage.
at some point we'll vote on the overlay
Yes.
Correct.
after all this.
Yes.
When you say continue to write to the town board, how does one do that? Can you please say that out loud, just email?
Right, the clerk.
Yes, it's townclerk@tuxedogov.org, or go to the website tuxedogov.org, and you'll see the email, the contact information for the town clerk. Yeah, once again, townclerk@tuxedogov.org. ORG. Bonnie, you had your hand up. Since everybody else said something, go ahead.
Just want to know, local development monies that were given to businesses that came.
We can't hear.
Oh,
Can you stand
they've
up
got to
here?
come up. Yeah.
Or just take the
Yeah.
microphone to her.
Yeah.
the local development corporation monies that businesses applied for, did they have to tell you what they're going to do with that money?
Yes,
in order
ma'am.
to
As a matter of
receive it?
fact, it's part of the application process.
Okay, so
Um,
was a cannabis shop, what was applied for?
That was for food service.
Okay,
It
so.
was distinctly for food service at that address.
So that, and the number that's being bandied about is $200,000
Correct.
given for food service.
Yes, ma'am.
And now it's proposed to be a cannabis shop, which,
Yes, ma'am. So it's a change of use and it's against the charter and we could possibly claw back the money. Yes, ma'am.
thank you
So
for
just, I
clarifying.
just want to make sure I clear the record. There was not $200,000 that was given to that site. In fact, that site received very little money in comparison to the other sites along the corridor. There was not a designation about what that site was going to be. It
Well,
was
Mr.
specifically for the
Lesko,
aesthetic
we're not
purposes.
talking about the amount
I
right
just
now.
wanted
As a
to
matter of
make
fact,
sure
we
that
kinda
was
got off
clear that
the-
that was not the amount that was given to other people, not to my location. So I want to make sure that was
Uh,
clear for the record. Thank
Okay,
you.
we're not going to debate that here. Thank you, sir. Okay, so now that we've got our motion through for continuing the public hearing, we're going back to the regular agenda. Now, I'm going to just change it again a little bit because I want to give Kathleen some relief with Rob because we got an extensive agenda. So we'll go to department updates and we'll start with recreation. So Kathleen, you have the floor. Yeah, we probably should. but-
Hold on, hey, everybody,
wait a minute.
everybody, I would implore everybody that's here to, to sit and listen to the revitalization presentation. There's a lot of concern about the businesses and the future of this town, and there's a lot of information and a lot of work that's gone into this.
And
Well,
recreation
if
is
not,
part of
next,
that.
next Tuesday, we are having an open meeting to discuss all of the updates of everything we're doing with the revitalization, economic development, Powerhouse Park, and the Riverwalk. All of these things are in process, and we will give the entire town a complete update on where we
Yeah,
stand.
we would like to have this turnout for that as
Yeah.
well. We've been working very hard on trying to turn around all
So,
those issues.
so
you guys know.
the accusations that
Yeah.
we're anti-business is actually humorous.
All right, Kathleen, real quick, you can go through your update there.
Good evening. Want to touch on a few things going on in the recreation department. Summer camp is going well with a enrollment of 98 children. We have a fantastic staff led by Director Craig Jacoby. He's doing a great job. After trips to the castle, bowling, and a Boulders game, they're going to Legoland on Friday and finish up in 2.5 weeks. Chair yoga for adults continues at the train station every Tuesday. Our spring adult basketball at the school gym concluded in mid-June. It was well attended each week by men and women of all ages. Thanks to Chris Scanlon, Matt Takeuchi, and Julius Floyd for the help in making this happen each week. Special thanks to Marco Margata and the school district for the use of the facilities. We hope to restart this program in early September. Pickleball clinic was held in June. We did not have great attendance, but we do appreciate the efforts of Roger Winan, who donated all his time to do 3 weeks of pickleball clinics. We hope to have more dates coming up soon. Our summer concert series has been successful. We'd like to get more people out there if we can. First one was in June 21st. Georgia 5 Band was great. Number 2 was the Counterfeiters a couple of weeks ago, who were fantastic, by the way. The next concert on the calendar is not until August 29th with Hurley Mountain Highway coming, who's a great local band. We have food trucks coming to that as well. The 3-on-3 Summer Basketball League starts next week. Anyone can show up between grades 7 through 12, starting at 5 o'clock. No registration is necessary. This is the second year of this league that was very successful last summer or last fall. Look for information coming soon on a August, September yoga and hiking program. Co-ed volleyball league and youth soccer clinics are in the works for the fall. Fall festival is October 4th. Please save the date. And the Parks and Rec Advisory Board continue to meet every month to make all this stuff happen.
Thank you for all you do, Kathleen.
Is the concert on a Friday?
It is. It is.
I like that
Thank you.
for my own reason. Rob Dolbaum, you're up, sir.
Okay, as you know, we surplus some equipment. The total was around 14,000. 4 police cars, the dog warden's car, 2 trucks, and some equipment. Small equipment was auctioned off. 5 of the pieces we kept because we didn't get enough money.
Okay.
So, the culvert on Benjamin Meadow Road is complete, all but the paving. It's gonna be, when the road is open, we are not going to pave until probably October. To let the pipe settle, let the, fill around it settle, and we may have to fill it a few times. Signs are up, says slow and bump, so bump ahead, so if you can't figure that out, you're on your own. Let's see, we started on the dirt pile this week. We've rented an excavator, a dozer, and a screener. Screener comes on Monday. The excavator started on this Monday, and we're getting them prepared to screen the rest of the material that's up there. We should be down to grade road driveway grade after this.
Okay, good.
Cutting grass, patching asphalt, and the sweeping is done in the down.
Yeah, you kind of hit, so after you did all the roads,
Yeah.
you couldn't contend with all the gully washers that were washing the stone out. That was a problem. But you did a great job. Your guys work hard. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And another little tidbit, in the interest of getting rid of dirt pile, we worked a deal today with Lennar to take $35,000 or 35,000 yards of millings from the former work that you've done. So thank you to Lennar, tailing, sorry. Thank you to Lennar for stepping up for that one. So thank you, Rob. Town clerk does not have an update. So, well, let's do this Tuxedo Hamlet parking study.
Yes.
And that's going to be.
I'm just putting my little prop up here for everyone. So this is the map that we have for the, that we're working on for the revitalization program for the Hamlet. Today, what I really want to talk about is parking. We have a full update next Tuesday at the, here at the town hall on all of the aspects of what we're looking on. But we do take each section and take a look at it. And parking is one of the biggest obstacles that we have in the Hamlet. If you bring in new business, one of the first things they say is, oh, it's great. And you give them all the economic background, which is how many visitors we get that come into Tuxedo that don't just drive through, who actually visit, which based on the economic study that we did last year, it's over 1 million people come to visit Tuxedo every year, but there is no place for them to eat, sleep, or shop. That is something that has been very clear today. Everybody's talking about it. So what are we doing about it? So we've invited a lot of people to come in, take a look at some of our stores, take a look at some of our issues. We have this huge development coming in. What are we going to do? So when people come in and take a look, they say, well, I really like the location. It's really nice. It's very interesting, but there's no parking. So if you take them to the IGA, for example, they'll say, well, it's a very large location. And if I were to put a, store in there, there's not enough parking to accommodate a large restaurant, let's say. So the other issue is that we have is that the private parking, the parking in the Hamlet is mostly privately owned. So there is no municipal parking outside of the train station. So when you come into the Hamlet, it's owned by the landowners and the people who everyone is complaining about who are absent business owners, and that's true. So we have to take a look at, and we have been taking a look at what can we do to overcome this obstacle, because it is a very big obstacle for economic growth. So one of the first things we're doing, and I'm just going to show maps here because it's the only way to really sort of show it. And this is basically, again, what you're all looking at and the audience is not. So let me go here. So this is the first, and this is the first thing that we're working on, which we all know is the junction. Now, I guess about 9 months ago, we purchased the junction from the town, and we are making the parking lot a municipal parking lot. That was the plan that we presented to the town, which is to divide the site into one location, which is a building, and sell that off and keep the parking lot as a municipal parking lot. Now, if we do that, that gives us a gain of about 25 parking spaces in the town. So at the time, we had a buyer who was very interested in buying it, and we were going to give them LDC money to fix up the building. If you go inside, and I do have shots of that, which I will show at the next meeting, if you go inside the junction, it is all reinforced. It's actually perfect for somebody to come in and redo a really nice location. It also does, because we did the research, it does allow for a liquor license. So, a lot of rumors about the junction, but most of them are not true. So basically, our goal here, and we have a full court press on this, is to get this done as quickly as possible, is to divide the property into 2 different sections, one being a municipal parking lot, which would also include sidewalks and lighting, which is part of the comprehensive plan that was agreed upon starting in 2003, ratified again in 2018, which is to beautify the downtown with sidewalks, vegetation, and lighting. So that is our first attempt at getting this all done. So that we're in the process of doing, and the beautification of that is going to be paid for by LDC money. So who do we want to go into the junction now that I have all of your attention? We are looking for someone to come into the junction who would be a benefit to the community and also bring people into the community. So it would be a nice point of destination. For example, the first person that we approached was a restaurant that had a compelling menu that basically had a differentiation from other ones around. So we weren't competing with Sloatsburg. We weren't competing with things in Monroe. And it was a medium priced with a very interesting menu. So everyone could go there. You could bring children there. And part of our formula is to also complement that with a retail space so that we get activity all day long coming into Tuxedo. So just an example, if we were to get a steakhouse, we would also have a butcher. If we were to have a high-end Italian market, we would also have a pastry shop or an ice cream shop, a gelato shop. So we're not selling this particular piece. What we're doing is we're marketing it. We're marketing it for something that is applicable to the people in the town and also to bring people in. And our goal is when people come by, they say, wow, that looks great. I want to stop there. So taking advantage of its proximity to Route 17 is also that, but making it beautiful. So next is parking. Now this parking is a privately owned, and excuse the maps, but so this is privately owned parking, 2 parking lots. To the right is the library parking lot, and to the left is the parking lot that's in the one side of the Reggie Bar. So right now, the library has 0 parking, 0. Okay, you have to either park on Store Road, which has the ability to have parking, but it has not been designated. Or you can park in the parking lot, which Lorde, who is the owner, who also owns Tuxedo Square, is very generous and allows people to do that. I don't need to tell everybody that Lorde is very anxious to sell their properties, and with that goes these parking lots. So the parking lot for the library is on the right, and there is an opportunity there. It could be improved so that it would have a bigger space, because right now it doesn't utilize all of the space that it could possibly have. So that could be improved. And then to the left is the Reggie Bar parking lot, and that currently can also be improved. And I actually do have a shot of that here. You can see that There's a lot of space in between the two aisles, so they could be consolidated into a better area. Get more parking spaces, but it would have to be improved. Also, the other issue is along that area, you cannot extend the sidewalks. So the sidewalks are currently 4 feet across. So the only thing you can do is patch them. You can't even take them up and put them back, because if you put them back, they have to go to code, and code is 5 feet. So in order to make them to code, you'd either have to go into Route 17 or you have to go on private property. So if we were to purchase those properties, we would be able to expand into that with sidewalks, and again, beautify it with sidewalks, lighting, vegetation, et cetera, and expand also our ability to make these municipal parking spaces. Now, we have talked to Lordy. Lordy has given us an offer to buy that property, that entire site, which is 2 parking lots and the building. Now, again, Tuxedo, we do not want to be landlords, but this is what they have come to us with, for between $625 and $650 is what they want for that spot. So that's just an option, and it's just for everyone to understand all the things that we're working on. The other,
Reiterate that it's inherently critical to anything happening in the Hamlet District, inherently. I mean, can't say it any better than that, so.
well, that's just facts.
Yeah.
So also along here are options to put in on-street parking, which has never been a popular idea, but we do have some initial concepts. Now, I just want to point out that these are all conceptual. We have not gone to the next level of paying for an official parking study, because we really need direction as to what we want to do. So if we decide that we decide we don't want to do municipal parking, that's not something the town wants to go in, there's no point in doing a big parking study. I mean, you just put in a parking, we'll limit that to on-street parking. So that's the importance of getting feedback and understanding what we're doing here. So that's the Hamlet parking. I also want to give you a quick update on the other issue that is coming and looming, which is the MTA. So the MTA has determined, and this is a long-standing project, this is not something new, they're 95% done. They are going to be putting in a light at East Village Road and the entrance to Tuxedo Park. Okay, now we call it Antonelli Park, which goes from the train station to East Village Road. That is duly owned by the MTA as well as Tuxedo, the town of Tuxedo. So the MTA, their complete goals is safety, 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 and keep it as, simple as possible. So this is their overlay. And where you see that red, that's all crushed gravel. That's what they want to put in there. So we went to them and said, it's really not that attractive. And we understand you want to make it safe, and we understand that we're going to have to get a light, but can we work with you to come up with something that would make it more attractive? Because part of the entire plan is to, when you come in from the north, that you look towards the right, you're looking at the beautiful park and the memorial park there. And when you look to the left, you want to look at also a park-like setting. So we had our designers who are working on all these things come up with this overlay, which they recently showed to the MTA, and the MTA was very open to allowing us to work with this with this type of a concept. So here, what we're adding is, instead of the Antonelli Road is gone, there's nothing we can do about that, because they believe very strongly that it's not particularly safe to go down a one-way road to go through a parking lot where people can be walking or backing up, and that it's much safer to go to an intersection and turn left and turn right as opposed to skirt around it, which is currently what everyone is doing. So what we're proposing is, from the train station, is to put in a pedestrian walkway with vegetation and landscaping and lighting that goes around, that goes to the crosswalk, takes you across the crosswalk, and then down towards the stairs that lead you down into the municipal lot. Also, it'll also connect to the Riverwalk that we are also putting in. So this whole section will become a very pedestrian-friendly and safe walkway for commuters, tourists, and also be very attractive. So that is what we're working on now with the park. Now, what happens is if we do add parking into the Antonelli Park, will allow us to now hopefully add some day parking up at the upper level of the train station, which currently we do not have. So, in a nutshell, that's the parking, outline of what we're looking at. Yes?
I have a question. Are you considering handicap parking?
Oh, absolutely. Handicap parking is mandatory.
Going down?
So, okay, I'm glad you asked that question. So when we talk to the MTA, if you see that red mark there, the first one on the right to the north, okay? See that? So the MTA stops there, up at the top, yep. So the MTA, they have an obligation to add, ADA parking, ADA walkways, yes, only to a certain point. So when the streetscape people looked at this, they said, well, that's fine, they do it to here, but once you get past that point, there's no really good way for you to be able to do that. So we said, let's take a look at taking ADA accessibility from the walkway and go down East Village Road to the entrance of the parking lot, which really makes more sense because you basically fall off a cliff when you go down those stairs. So they only go to where their spec is. We have to look for what is best for our residents. So we said we are going to take on that design and leave that away. And they were happy because that gives them a little bit more money and they're willing to give us a little bit more money back to make this a nicer park-like setting. So yes, ADA is very important. Yes.
Just thank you for doing all of this, and this is so important, and it's exciting to see all this happening. Just a comment on the parking situation. I know we have a lot of empty businesses.
Right.
But when I look out there, and I'm in town a lot, there's so many parking spaces.
But we don't own them.
I know, I
Yeah.
I get it. But if we want to be a walkable town area, we really do have to think of all of the parking spaces as sort of interchangeable, and that's not easy. So if there's any way to do that, that's what you're thinking of, then the more we can do that, the more that the businesses can share the parking spaces, as opposed to having specific ones for each and every single business. Because I think that's the secret, right, to a walkable downtown. Because if we fill this with parking, we don't want it filled with empty parking spaces.
No. We don't. We want to have a beautiful downtown.
Beautiful downtown.
Right.
I think it's possible, but.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a really good point, because one of the points is right now our codes have restrictions on each business.
Right.
So the point is, if we were to purchase some of these parking lots, we would make them municipal parking lots, in which we could do other things. Right now, the big sign is you're going to get towed.
Like the IGA, for instance, that's 6,500 square feet per floor. The parking lot in that particular property will never sustain a solution. So these adjacent parking lots, including the junction, could help for a developer to come in and figure out what to do.
But there's really plenty of parking. In the grand scheme of things, there's plenty of parking.
But we have to
control. You just don't have control.
Right.
I get it.
Yep.
While you're there, I think it's only fair to go ahead and just give a little brief overview about what we're doing in the fall.
Okay.
Before I let her do that, I want to just preface by saying this board has been doing an awful lot of work in the last year and a half. Deirdre has carried that work over into this administration with me. She's building marketing plans and pitch books for every single business in Tuxedo for free. All right, so that's very important because that allows people who are interested to come in and open a book and say, wow, somebody's already prepared all the ideas we can do for this property and vetted it out, right? And the marketing plans are very succinct. So I'll just give it back to you if you want to make any additional comments about that, but very important side work that's going on with everything else here.
Right. Well, one of the things that we're planning on doing is to have a symposium in the fall where we are inviting people from outside of town to come in and see what we have to offer with all of the opportunities that we have here. We've done over the past several years a lot of work and groundwork that's really necessary. You can't just say to somebody, hey, you want to come in? You need to prove to them that there's a reason to be here. And we do have a beautiful development coming in. We do have a tourism business. We do have the Jehovah Witnesses here, the worldwide headquarters. They get over 1,000 people per day, except in September and October, that's double. So they're getting about 400 to 500,000 people per day that come to visit Tuxedo. And they then go other places to eat, sleep, and shop.
I see that in local restaurants all the.
Right,
Yeah.
and they support this program because they want Tuxedo to be a place where people who come to visit here can come to, look at Dottie Audrey. I don't go to Dottie Audrey's because I can't get in. And these are people who do spend money, who do want to live in to see nice places, who do want to go to nice restaurants. So we have definitely an audience. We need to figure out how we're going to be business friendly and attract these people. So in the fall, we're working with the economic development committees of Orange County. I'm from Rockland, to invite people in and show them ideas. What are those ideas? Nice restaurants. If I hear an ice cream store one more time, I think I'm gonna, give up ice cream. But a nice ice cream store, a nice, well, we do have the bakery with, Dottie Audrey's. We don't want to compete with that. But, we need to take the downtown of yesterday and bring it back with a twist. So that is what we're aiming to do. So we need to have exciting, compelling businesses that bring people to Tuxedo, that also is interesting to the residents of Tuxedo. So that's the kind of books that we're preparing, for, and ideas from other towns. And you're going to see, this is something we're working on just with the Powerhouse Park and the Riverwalk. We're send people out on these missions to go find great ideas and bring them back so we can incorporate them into our marketing plans.
I just have one question. I know that the Red Apple Rest is not in Tuxedo.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, keep your mouth shut then, Christina. Anyway, thank you, darling. As you approach and you're coming north on 17, you talk about the aesthetics and the beautification, blah, blah, blah. But then when you're approaching Tuxedo and you see that disaster, is there anything going on there?
I'm going to pass this to Adam.
Right into that.
Go ahead, Adam.
So at last month's meeting, we
Right.
passed a resolution for a new property maintenance law. And with that, we went up there and we took a look at the property and the building, and we found multiple different violations. So we're taking that to the next step now. And we contact property owner, speak to him about it, see what he has to say about it, try to get him on board with helping out. If he doesn't, we're gonna have to take it a different direction.
But we now have,
Yeah, we didn't have the ability to do that prior to that resolution we just passed. So now we have some meat on the bone.
yeah. So the idea is to really, is to spread this to the entire town. So, but we have to start somewhere. Ground zero right now is the junction.
Yeah.
Going to get that done. We have quotes in to get the original person who was going to take it over. We were giving them LDC money to clean it up and to do all that. Now they backed out, so now we're going to clean it up so we can sell it. The LDC money is money that was granted to us by the developer to renovate to revitalize the hamlet. So, any other questions? No? No?
Nice job.
Thank you, thank you. All right, you're next.
All right, thank you, Deirdre. That brings us to Parks and Recreation Advisory Board presentation on the Riverwalk options for Powerhouse. I believe that would be Maria
Maria.
May.
Oh,
I didn't see her. Where did she go?
She's right there.
Oh, she's over there. Okay. You have the floor, Maria.
I know. All right. Oh, there. Okay, so, hi, I'm Maria May, and I am the chair of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And so, a couple months ago, Deirdre and the board and Kathleen came to us and said, hey, we have, we want to create a walkway along the river that actually, it starts the other way. It ends on the falls, the Augusta Falls that you see right there. So that's the map from the walk. I think if you were here at the last meeting, you saw the New Jersey Trail Association?
Conference, yeah.
Sorry, conference, conference. They actually talked a little bit about this and they gave their suggestions. So we started with, we started from what we learned from them. So it's 0.45 miles. It begins in the East Village and the Tuxedo train station, and it passes the Powerhouse stage and goes around to overlook the Augusta Falls. So so you can see that some of the landscape is right by the water, is right on Powerhouse Park. And then we didn't take a picture, but some of it is more inside the trail that goes all the way to the falls. So the task that we were given was to look at different towns and different places and see how they do their river walks and come back with some ideas. And this is an ongoing project. We're not done at all. This is just our first, foray into this. So we started looking at some of the towns nearby that have river walks. So this is the Peekskill Landing. So we were looking at things like, what is the surface of the trail? What is the signage? What are the, obviously we're gonna need some sort of railing because the way that the river is in that spot goes down. So we looked at also Croton Landing. Some of these are the river is up closer than in our case, although sometimes around the floods. But so we were looking at different places and getting different ideas about interesting places to sit, or eventually maybe, down the road, some cool monuments to celebrate the history of our town, which is so, so unique. So we also looked at the Nyack Beach. That's a little bit like closer to us. That happens to be a super long trail, and they don't have a railing. And I remember as a mom, when my kids were little, I lived in Rockland, and we used to run the trail. And it was a little scary when the kids were little and they run around, without you, like, are they gonna fall? And also it wasn't some parts are really steep, but other parts are not. So then, this is Storm King. So I like that. I liked, I don't know who was that you, Don, that gave us Storm King? We got photographs. So all of us went around and collected these photographs, and then they shared them with me, with Kathleen, and with Deirdre. So that's kind of cool because it has the stone kind of feeling that we have in Tuxedo. So, and I'm not gonna say all of this is gonna happen immediately, but these are ideas that could happen down the road. So actually this is out of place, but so so we looked at different things and then compare them. So the possible structures, it could be a gazebo, or it could be, I know that the structure that is there now, the pavilion is gonna come down, and, you know, something else will come up in there.
Playground.
Huh?
It's a playground.
A playground, right. So, we didn't do playgrounds. That will be in the next presentation. I just happened to go to Monroe. They opened a brand new playground, the airplane playground, and it was just really fun for the kids. And one of the things that I thought was really cool is that the construction company, the builders of the park went to Pine Tree Elementary and asked the kids, what kind of things would you like to have in a park? And the kids made drawings, and then they used the drawings to create part of the park. So it was really cool. One of them was like a climbing thing that's a train. So yeah, so then we looked at surfaces. And in surfaces, you're looking at how much money there is to spend and what kind of surface you can have in an area where flooding could happen. So you want something that is permeable, but also, and this is part of the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference rules, is that it has to be ADA, compatible, compliant. Yes, thank you. So like that one with the slots is cool, but that might not be really great if you have a wheelchair or something like that. Crushed stone seemed to be the preferred in a lot of these trails. And I think that thanks to Rob, we have a lot of that that we could probably use. So, oops, did I go one too far? Yeah, these were other trails surfaces. Oh, I really like that one with the big stones, because once you get into the trail part of the walk, you really have to be, like, you're in the woods. So that's not a part where people are gonna necessarily be able to go with, wheelchairs or something like that. But I really like the big stones. I thought that was a beautiful look, and also pretty easy to walk. It also keeps the vegetation from like growing back. When we walked it, so the beginning of this process, all of us walked through the whole trail, or most of it. And in the part of the trail that goes right before the Augusta Falls was so overgrown just from the winter, because I'm pretty sure those trails are kept. But it's just a lot of rain, and nature is nature, right? We also looked at railings. So my understanding was that the railings are something that we're thinking about only because it's a big drop, correct? Or no?
We're waiting to hear from you.
Okay, well, I like the thought of railings. There were some that were like just wood, and those might be hard to maintain, but there's also some metal ones. I really like this one. Was from I can't remember what the place is. It's like it's upstate New York, and it's really neat because it follows the and then it could be metal, and eventually like the foliage will wrap around, and it'll be interesting. Also, we looked a little bit. I know that eventually there's going to be a bridge. We didn't spend a whole bunch of time looking at bridges, but I like this, which I thought would be really cool. And I think we were talking to you, Deirdre, that there might be having like a little lookout point where you can walk out and see the river.
Cantilevered, like a porch.
Right. So I thought that was nice, the way that it was done in here. So again, the railing, different kinds of railings. And then we looked at some bridges. I think when I looked at New York and, when we looked at the New York and New Jersey Trail conferences, they had some bridges that they were like, absolutely not, either too flimsy or too big. It's, you know, but it's a pretty big span. So whatever it is, it has to be, you know, a pretty sturdy. If you go to the Nurian Trail in Southfields, they have a small bridge that goes over the Ramapo, and then you keep going up on the trail, and then they have a huge bridge that goes over the thruway. So, and I didn't take a picture of that. There's been a lot of bears around Southfields, so, and I didn't want to go by myself, but we will take pictures of that. Like, bear spray. We have a huge, enormous bear that just keeps coming around. So, yeah, so these were also some ideas for bridges.
So question, so the
Yes.
bridge will eventually lead into a phase 2 that leads to the trailheads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does it get over the thruway?
No.
No,
No, it's,
it goes to the east.
Goes, goes
goes to,
along the thruway.
To 210?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
County
a,
Road. Yeah,
it's a
just,
historic,
yeah.
historic site over there, used to be a Slavic village. And, it's probably so overgrown, no one would recognize it. There's a lot of descendants in Tuxedo where their family was born there.
Oh.
And there's pictures, so I don't know what the Slovak village, where it is now.
Oh, that's in South, yeah, is that in the East Village or Southfields? Yeah.
And how to, and who's going to maintain this, keep it clean?
Well, I mean, if you build a trail that gets used, you know, I mean, I guess the town will have to. But, you know, we want to make it beautiful, but also make it so that is, you know, is
Self-reliant.
exactly. It's easy to take care of. I mean, some of these you can tell that are pretty, you know, will be pretty.
Always people that have dogs in the back house. You have trouble with people with dogs. They poop and they leave it. They don't even pick it up.
Right, well, yeah, so I mean, that's the thing, you know, throughout the trails, there will be things like water. There was one slide that I didn't get to put in here. I will next time. There are like drinking fountains, also, you know, receptacles, but there will be a dog park that will be a two-part dog park, for little dogs on one side and big dogs on the other side, which for someone who has two little dogs, that would be really great, because my little dogs are afraid of big dogs. So,
Can I think about that? It's in the same, section. The dog park's gonna be in the same section as the dog park is now, only made bigger around.
And divided.
And divided, yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
Well, there's gonna be, bigger dogs are gonna be in the new part and smaller dogs can go into.
Now, what about the leash law that we're talking about dogs? Many people bring their dogs there for a run and they let them go.
I can't.
Well,
speak
that,
to
yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
not,
gonna be
yeah, we
the-
can't,
code
that's something
enforcement.
to talk about at another time.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern though.
so this is a conceptual plan of, you can, after we are done, you're welcome to look at it. So, this is what, you know, what the plan is. I think, do I have anything else? These are more bridges.
Just a question, I know that we figured out the engineering of the walk, we're using the NY Trail Conference. When you come to a span like that, is that gonna have to bring in the Army Corps of Engineers for
No,
that
they
particular
sent
one?
us, names of structural engineers to talk to.
So Jay, you would know the answer to that, yeah.
If we're talking about putting a bridge across the Ramapo, that will involve the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, this is
New York
navigable.
State DEC, the New York State Department of State. It's not a minor process, and
Right.
and as we pointed out, the river floods, so the
Right.
bridge could be.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Right.
It's gonna be a big bridge.
Also, the consideration of what, is there something besides walking traffic, bikes or motorized vehicles? for
Oh, yeah,
emergency
that was, I
purposes?
had that
For
too.
weight, you know, and
All that'll have to be thought out. and-
Right.
not to throw a wrench into it, I'm just.
No,
thinking- I'm
that's
thinking
why
about
it's
it.
phase 2.
These are real things, and part of this is gonna have to be, it's not gonna be self-paying. So,
Yeah.
you know, maintenance and upkeep and all of that will need to be part of this
Right.
process and somewhere there needs to be an ongoing funding stream.
Okay,
Right, so.
so that's why it's phase two.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, good.
Is there any opportunity for some of this, all of this to fall under New York, New Jersey Trail Conference? Because that's a big part of what they do is maintain trails.
I think,
Yeah, and I think we've
that,
established
yes.
a
I know that they have
Yeah.
like
Yes.
volunteers. Once you start getting like a wooded area, perhaps, but if we're doing something like this, where there's a bridge and like a crushed stone walkway or whatever the walkway material is, they're not gonna be maintained.
Also, I saw in these kinds of crushed stone walkways, bicycles. I thought I had added a picture in here. The problem with this particular trail is that it's small, it's short. But, you know, if we get a lot of bike riders in the summer that could, you know, do the street and then come and do this, you know, because it's beautiful and if they wanted to do it.
Really small compressed.
Like
crushed stone.
Quarry Field.
Or bicycle.
Yeah.
And have a-
I mean, they suggested some like other kinds of paving stones and stuff like that, but I think those are really, really expensive and they,
I think
you
like
know,
a quarry field type stone would
yeah.
be most applicable.
So I don't know.
Okay, so phase.
So what do you, so this is just the beginning, but you know, this is a little bit of
Very
how we
helpful.
work.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay. All right, time for public comments on agenda items. We have any? In the room, no. Outside in Zoom, any public comments on agenda items? No, okay. Resolution number 1. Agenda item number 1. All right, I'd like to make a motion to authorize a 30-day extension, or you're authorizing me as the supervisor to create a 30-day extension to comment on the CRD acronym, please, Ben? CRD, Cannabis Retail Dispensary, license applications. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, number 2, resolution to appoint summer camp employees. So I'd like to make a motion that the town board of the town of Tuxedo approves the part-time summer camp employees, Nate Butner, lifeguard, $20 an hour, and Adina Benedetto, recreation aide at $15.50 an hour. It doesn't say, by the way, what the, how many hours per week, but Kathleen's not here to answer that question, so.
Full time,
Yeah,
full camp time.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, resolution to approve auction sales of surplus equipment. I'd like to make a motion to approve auction sales of surplus equipment, and that was the stuff that Rob was talking about earlier. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 4, resolution to authorize master orchard sign permit. This is a yearly thing that we do, so do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to authorize bidding for garbage, refuse, and recyclables collection. This is a good one, so let's just make the motion, we'll discuss. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. So I'll start. We're coming to the end of our 5-year contract for refuse district, for refuse removal. As you can imagine, the costs of that are skyrocketing, especially in the recycling side. And Chris, you can chime in because you sat with us on this if you'd like. to say
Yeah,
anything.
the, I want to say recycling in the last contract was $0 per ton. It is now $140 per ton.
Yeah, and the bad part of that story is, folks, none of it's really getting recycled, it's going to a landfill, okay? So, that's ridiculous, all right?
They put both into the same truck.
Yeah, I have.
I've seen that
I have an
Exactly.
inquiry, I have an inquiry out to them about that, because Dale has brought that up at a previous meeting.
So, and yeah, exactly, that's our concern. So anyway, where I was going with this was, we seem to be the only municipality in Orange County that does 2 garbage pickups per day, 1 recycling, and an on-demand bulk pickup, right? we'd really like to maintain that, but we have to look at the cost, so we have an RFP going out or a competitive bid going out, and that's what this is gonna authorize.
Yeah.
With a couple of options, and you can go
Yeah,
ahead.
so we're looking at some different options. Obviously, it'd be great to maintain currently what we have, 2 days of garbage, 1 day of recycling. Or what else did we do? We did one day of garbage, 1 day of recycling. Or potentially keep the garbage at 2 days
Right.
and every other week on the recycling. So we have a few different options for the RFP for folks to bid on to see kind of what makes the most sense for the functionality for everyone in town, as well as cost appropriateness when we're trying to manage the budget.
Yeah, trying to keep the cost down, but still keep the service level somewhere in the middle, right? And not, take it all away, because, or believe it or not, Warwick did that. They took
Warwick
away
took it
their
away.
refuse district, and now they all have private purveyors, and it's a mess over there.
Oh,
So we don't want that, Tuxedo.
The bulk pickup actually will stay the same. On-demand bulk pickup will stay the same because it's actually the cheapest option.
It's great.
It's the cheapest option. Otherwise, if we had a scheduled day, they would have to dedicate a truck to the route to drive around and find the bulk. And it actually costs more money to do it that way. So a simple phone call, letting them know you have something to pick up is the cheaper option.
Alarm, and then you represent what address.
Another thing to note for the board, somehow this contract ends right in the 3Q of fiscal year. I don't know how that happened 5 years ago, but I really don't feel comfortable going, I mean, we're gonna have to put this out to bid, but in the meantime, I really don't want to get back into a contract that ends 3/4 of the way through the year.
It ends August 31st.
So what my proposal, when we're gonna talk about it as we go through this, but I checked with the bookkeeper and we have plenty of money in that fund to cover an extension of the contract until December 31st. So we'll
Well, we're
talk about that.
budgeting to extend that. I mean, not
Yeah,
extend
we're
it,
going
we're
to extend
budgeting
it.
as is.
Yeah.
December 31st. We just need to
I
discuss that
just,
with item.
I'd rather just start January 1st because it makes it much more manageable come budget time, right? The other issue that we have and we're trying to work through, believe it or not, is a growth issue, which is always supposed to be good, right? It doesn't seem like the, Lennar project up here is in our trash district. They seem to think they are. They're not on the map. I thought they were gonna use HOA fees to support their garbage pickup, which comes out to about $46 per, did you come up with that number? I think it was, or Marissa did. So right now, I'm kind of in a colloquy with them, trying to figure out how to do that, which presents another problem for us negotiating this contract, because, you know, if we're gonna do a bulk contract, I can't predict the growth rate up there, right, over 5 years, so we might have.
Well, what we talked about when we had the meeting with her is that it would basically be a additional cost per.
We can do it
Oh, I should say
per
door.
unit increase. Yeah.
Per door, and as units come online, then the cost would be added.
And that would be their contribution per unit.
And that'll
charge.
kind of, I think, be in the contract as it, you know, laid out, as units come online, it'll be this cost, fixed rate.
Okay, so all in all, good problems to have, growth, right? But once again, we have to keep an eye on the cost, and we have to look at diminishment of the level of service, because that's important to us too. We don't want to do that if we don't have to, so. All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, just for clarification, are we going out for bid for just garbage 1 day a week, recycling 1 day a week, and for how we
There's the
cover
options.
currently?
Different options.
So we're gonna have multiple
Multiple
options.
options for them to put a bid for.
Okay,
So they're gonna give us this will be the price for A, this will be the price for B.
Right.
beautiful. Very
Okay,
good,
great.
And
thank
we'll
you.
take that information and make the best decision that we can.
Okay,
Thank you,
all in
sir.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. By the way, have you taken a look at the RFP? It's ready.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Has everybody else seen it? Okay. Next one, number 6, resolution to authorize American Petroleum to paint fuel tanks. What fuel tanks are we painting? By the way? Does anybody know?
At the highway.
Oh, it's the garage, okay. I think.
The only fuel tanks.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what other ones do we
I'm
have?
like,
It's still. Yeah, it's still.
all right, like to make a motion to authorize American Petroleum to paint the fuel tanks at the old highway garage. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, a couple of discussion items. One of is, I guess I put this on here because, once again, there's a there's an issue happening in our town that's quite unfortunate, and it's causing some distress. I'm trying to figure it out. I had to, I mean, so we're just gonna start out with saying it's a Duck Cedar Plaza, okay? So about 3 or 4 years ago, the Department of Health condemned the septic system there. And their Speedies permit, which is required by the DEC to run a septic system, is also expired. The Department of Health worked with them to figure out a solution that they would put a package treatment plant in there. And that was agreeable to all sources, DEC, DOH, and to the property owner. We ran into a huge item with the MTA, which I had to actually escalate the MTA focal to the governor's office to get them to sign a paper to get this approved, which we finally did. That took over a year to do. Now finally, we have one hurdle that's going to be the killer. So the DEC says that there's a law that anybody who lives in proximity of this project, and now what I mean by that is, so the package plant will obviously be in the Duck Cedar Plaza, and it will go underneath the road into a culvert that you can see as you drive by there. It's that was where the big contention was with the MTA, allowing him to dump, which is almost pure potable water from this, you know, this plant. They were worried about the rate of flow, which is really winds up in the engineering report to be less than 0.1% of the ratable flow of the entire culvert. So none of that's a problem. But the DEC's proximity notification rule comes into place, and it's not subvertible. So there's a property owner at the antique store there. She's required to sign a document of understanding that she realizes that this pipe is going to go in, no matter, even if it's not on her property, some 100 yards to the north. She refuses to sign it. Oh, I've been there 4 or 5 times, and she's not going to sign it, and that's her prerogative. But what does that mean for the Duck Cedar Plaza? They have until December 31st to figure a solution, or it will shut down. Nightmare scenario, everybody, right? So before it becomes a rumor, I'd like to address it here, and I've done that. So I'm working diligently every single day to find a solution. I think we're approaching one pretty quickly. I've got the DOH to look at them using an Elgin system instead of the septic tank system. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but
Not really.
instead of having a leach field, you have this series of concrete boxes that do the same thing. It's a little bit more expensive than the package plant. But who would have thought this, right? This is a horrible problem to have if you're,
And the new owner will be okay.
say again?
Maybe it'll get sold that place.
Well, you know what? There is one other option, and we'll probably never entertain it because it involves taxpayer money. And by the way, I'm really not a big fan of this process anyway, because it happened to my own family in Newburgh, and it was a horrible process back in the 70s. Eminent domain, and I'm not going to take anybody's property, all right? So we got to figure this out. Well, anyway, that's an update on that. And Deirdre, you want to give an update on the residential college project at Sterling Forest?
Yeah, sure. I went to the, along with many other people, went to the the planning board meeting in Warwick regarding the residential college in Sterling Forest. And it's basically to take over the NYU building and retrofit it to make it a dormitory for 200 men. They didn't say how old they were, but 200 men who would live there. And it was unanimously passed. The SECRA was, it was a negative declaration, so it was said that there was no environmental impact. The site plan was approved, as was the special permit. It was very disappointing because we as a town had submitted several letters of concern as to what we were concerned about for the environment concerning specifically water, sewage, and emergency services. So we are disappointed, and that's all I can say at this point. There are other organizations that are also disappointed, and I believe they're having a meeting on Monday to discuss next steps. I think the Sterling Forest Homeowners Association is considering taking action in Article 78 to try to circumvent this problem.
Would that be something the town could piggyback?
Well, we need to discuss that. I mean, that's something that I've talked to Benica about, but we should discuss it and decide what we want to do. But that's the situation.
All right, well, thank you, Deirdre. Town board updates, we'll start with Chris.
Not too much for me. There's a lot going on with the recreation department. I implore everybody to look into it, get involved. There's a lot of, activities and things for younger kids in town. I believe the itinerary is on the website. So look into that if, you have some younger kids that like to get a little more involved and active. And then I would also like to urge everybody, if you haven't done so yet, download the Tuxedo Connect app.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
just kind of notifications on.
Who doesn't know what it is? Raise your hand. Everybody knows what it is?
Yay.
Something I won't.
Look at
That's
Really happy.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I won't preach to the choir. For those of you out in Zoom, if you haven't done so, it's very informative. Helps keep you aware of emergencies or other things going on in town. And that's all I have.
Chris Tasker.
Currently working negotiations with the PBA for the new police contract. Last meeting we had last week went very well. I think we're happy. We did have a discussion about, we're not trying to beat one or the other, right? And we know the winners of that negotiation will be the town residents when they have and they do have a professional police force that has a compensation package that attracts and retains the best talent in law enforcement, and that's what we're working for.
Thank you so much. Deirdre, anything else on updates?
No, just a reminder, Tuesday, 7:00, just an update on all of the revitalization programs for the town.
And Councilman Iron.
As always, want to thank all department heads. Thank you, Marissa, for all you do. Ben, thank you very much. You've been very busy with everything going on. You've been very busy, so I want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Deidre too, revitalization, ton of work. And you've done a great job with it. Just circling back to Southfields heading north or, coming south on 17. It's not just the Red Apple property. There's multiple properties up there that are in violation of our property maintenance ordinances. And we will be working diligently with the property owners to bring these properties into compliance. So we are aware of it and we're going to be moving forward with it. Gas station project. I did speak to Vishal. He did mention to me 2 weeks ago that there was going to be workers back on site the 21st, and I confirmed that they were on site the 21st, and they've been there since. What I would recommend is maybe as a board, we can get together at some point in August and go do a walkthrough. And then I'm a big believer in chain of command, maybe after at that walkthrough, if you wouldn't mind town supervisor asking him to come in September to give a
Sure,
report on what he's accomplished and what we're looking at moving forward. The original date that I was given in February where they were supposed to be finishing up and hopefully opening the gas stations end of August, it doesn't look like we are going to hit that date, just to be honest. So I think it would be important for all of us to go over there, can't take a walkthrough.
Not all of us at the same time.
So maybe we'll break it up into
Yeah, we
two
can
separate
we can
groups, or
We'll
I've
figure
been in there, so we'll figure it out, but then maybe Mr. Supervisor, we could set something up in September with
Absolutely.
him, to have him come
Yeah,
and.
we did it in the spring.
Exactly, have him come back to, the second time in a year, he
Apprise
could
the public
report.
of his progress. Yes.
School district, thank you. We have 2 school board members in here, from Tuxedo Union Free School District. We have Abani Takeuchi and Sue Mitchell. Thank you for coming and making your comments. I was watching, I believe it was your last meeting, you guys had formulated a bunch of different committees, one of them being an outreach committee. I just want to make sure that everybody in the community knows that's within the Tuxedo Union Free School District boundaries to get involved, to either come to the meetings or watch the meetings, get involved if they can on that committee. That would be great.
Yeah.
And how are they notified of these meetings?
Well, they just formulated the committee,
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah,
Right.
so it's something that they're
You'll let
working
us
on.
know.
Yeah, but thank you, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much, Adam. Yeah, I don't have anything. I've already did it, so we'll move on to approving the minutes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular bi-monthly town board meeting held on July 9th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Next vouchers. I'd like to make a motion to, wait a minute, which word? Oh, here it is. I'd like to make a motion to approve the vouchers Claim numbers last four, 5023 through 5089 for a total of $131,796.74. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Time for public comments. We'll come back to the room first. Anybody have any general public comments outside of what we've already scoped in?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted, something about the garbage. So the option of one pickup of garbage and one, that might be a problem for bears.
Believe
because-
me, that's gone through my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to put my garbage out, because if I leave it there, it'll get turned over.
Wait,
And
I'm
also
sorry,
the
I missed
apartments on the
what
top.
You said.
Bears.
One-
Bears.
No, you were talking about.
If we do it once a week, garbage will accumulate. You'll have no choice but to put it. in the
Yeah.
garbage.
Put it
okay,
outside,
no,
yeah.
Yeah, no, we were.
Yeah.
That's crossed my mind. I have the same problem.
And you know what, when you have like the apartments in Southfields or the little apartments, they have a lot, they have 4 or 5 residences there. Their garbage, even every other day, piles up. So like, please, no more bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely,
Believe me,
definitely is an
if
issue.
it makes financial sense, Maria, we would like to keep.
Especially over in your neighborhood.
The way it is. It's,
Right.
we have to see what the cost is gonna be.
You have a person
Really
over there
don't
that's
know.
pretty bad.
The recycling, like, every other week or something.
Well, that's
better
a
than-
consideration. So we're, believe me, it's not lost on me. I have the bear problem too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Marissa, but I see the other business resolution. I know that I was talking to the chief earlier. I couldn't find the contract. Is that something that we provide back to the Run Fair?
It is.
And did they have that conversation?
The chief did, yes.
So we're good to go on this resolution?
We have to provide the contract to the Ren Fair, but, the Ren Fair is comfortable with what we.
Okay, so this is just a resolution authorizing us to create the contract?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town to create an agreement with the Renaissance Fair for provision of police service, pending review of contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now, one more comment to make. This is the reason we're going into executive session. We have these really tight property maintenance code in place, but we're really in trouble with a building inspector right now. So we have to go and figure out what to do there. So I'm gonna make a motion to go in executive session,
I think
discuss.
we have one comment for public.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Evelyn.
Evelyn, you have a public comment. I'm sorry, Evelyn.
Yes, I do. This is about the alert system. Should I bring that up or just do it really fast?
No, you can bring it
Make
up.
sure that the alert system for in case of hurricanes, tornadoes, based on what happened in Texas, Tuxedo has nothing. Okay. Nobody would ever know that something's howling at you or gonna hit within an hour or two because. So I know I talked to you. You said there was a 9/11. That's 9/11, but somebody has to tell 9/11, right? They're not
Okay,
going to
well,
do it
listen.
on their own.
Evelyn,
So, go ahead.
we've had this conversation extensively. Let me bring it to the board. So in
Oh,
the
okay.
events that happened in Texas, in Kerrville, obviously we had problems in the Ramapo before, so it's time to open our eyes to other measures we could take protectively to the community. Evelyn
Yeah.
brought it, we have these dams that are in bad shape just to the north of us. The Cohasset and Upper Cohasset dams are in danger of imminent failure, according to the last inspection. They don't want to do anything about it, so we're working on that. But in the meantime, what does our downstream notification system look like? We need to know when there's going to be a dam breaking or where they need to lower the water and increase the water down here. To Evelyn's point, which is a great one, we're trying to work on that with Pipsy right now. They're not being very cooperative, but in the interim, it'd be a good question for you. I know that in Kerrville, they came up with some concept where they had warbling siren for fires and emergencies, but they had a straight tone for floods or tornadoes. Evelyn's idea was to try to institute that type of a thing with your siren over there. So who would we talk to? It would have to be the county. Okay. All right. So Evelyn, we got to go to the 911 people to talk about that. But more importantly, Somebody needs to tell 911 when we have a water issue, and that's what we're working on.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an idea that I have that I know other places have. They have gauges by the water that are connected to the police station. So the police can read electronically what the water is doing in the river. Now that's
Yeah,
the water in the river.
We
but,
have
you know,
rain
that's
gauges
a,
at, what do you call, NOAA runs rain gauges. One's in Suffern, one's in Mawa, but I'm not aware of one north. So, and by the way,
We don't
those
have one
things
in
aren't real
Tuxedo.
time. That's a
I
problem.
think by the time. you
No.
got that, it was be underwater.
by the time it hits Suffern, we're gone.
Yeah. No, it's definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dave, sorry, I'm just adding on to the comment. I think what she's trying to make is there is electronic gauges that we as a town can put on the river.
Yeah. That's what we would probably monitor right there at the bridge, yeah. I think that's a great idea, actually. We'll look into that.
What did she say? I didn't hear.
I think that's great.
All right, Evelyn, I'll get back to you on that, all right?
It's a good idea.
All right.
It's a
Okay.
great idea.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what? If you have the fire, if there's a fire, you get the siren sound. Can you tie something on that same pole or whatever that system is used that's a different sound to alert people in Tuxedo of imminent danger, like, you know, something else, tornado, and tell everybody if you hear a weird sound over Tuxedo, it means get out of your house or get in the basement or whatever, right?
Right. And that's for our emergency action plan, so we have to build that in. So we'll have to go into some analysis and try to render some solutions as a phased project, but I totally agree with you, especially with the flooding issues we have.
I know. It's horrendous. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Yeah,
Anybody
okay.
else? I'm sorry, I missed Evelyn. All right, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a matter of personnel. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out.
Anybody want to wait?
Yeah, I'm second. Is there weed in there?
There really is weeding.
Oh, yeah.
I smelled it when he came in.
I still have a security.
Oh, shit, there is.
About NYU properties?
Oh, no, that is Monday, here at 7
Yay.
o'clock.
At our town hall?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay.
See.